Ben here from Castle Hills Mountain Bikes. We're in the shed. We're going to attempt to bleed the RockShox reverb dropper post. So in preparation, I have moved the actuator for the dropper post further in to gain more cable length, and we end up with a spool of the cable here so that when we go to lift the dropper post out, that cable will go inside the frame and allow this to come back out. Right, so we've managed to pull the dropper post out of position, and you'll note that there's a little bleed screw on the top. We need to leave that to the top, and the same on the actuator. There's a little bleed screw on top. We want that as the highest point. Then we're going to hook up the syringes into those bleed holes, and I'll show you the next step. Right, so we removed both of the bleeder screws from either end, and in the kit you get this little attachment. Basically, we need to screw that into there until it's firm. Notice now that I'm wearing gloves, we are dealing with an oil, so we don't want to get that into our skin. Let me screw that one into there. Now we need to fill up one syringe, and we want to do like the doctor's trick and remove, if I can get that in focus, we need to remove the air bubble out of it. There we go. Right, now we've filled this syringe up half to 3/4 of the way with no air bubbles. At the other end is empty, and basically what we want to do is push one down while the other one gets pulled, and you'll find that we'll end up with the older fluid in this syringe, and then we need to work it backwards and forwards until there's no air in the system. I'll try and show you what that looks like. Alright, so we've pushed that one down till there's a little bit left in it with no air, and you'll see the color difference at the other end. So now we need to work that backwards and forwards until you have no air bubbles at either end. This is how I learned how to do it off of YouTube, but it also is my first time doing it, so let's see how we go. Right, so we've gone backwards and forwards until all the air bubbles are out of the syringes, and then we've put that where is it, grub screw back in the hole, nice and firm, not too firm. And then we're left with this syringe with a bit of fluid in it and your actuator. Now on the video that I watched, basically we moved this actuator backwards and forwards to get the last bit of air out of the system until there's no air in it. You can see there's still quite a bit of air in this. Now this is all original parts. We're really hoping there's no other issues with it. And the other trick is on your line is to flick it. So I'm going to go ahead and bleed this as much as I can, and then we'll see how it went. Right, so we've bled that system, and we've pushed the syringe down until this comes out, and we push this back in 3 or 4 times, or until you get rid of all the air in that little adapter, and you better push this in and then push your syringe down and repeat the process. It's not too bad to do, and then we end up with an operation. Now notice I've removed the seat. Underneath the seat on the Stealth models, there's a little air bleeder there, so the camera doesn't want to focus. There's a little air bleeder like you'd have on your shocks. That has a setting on this one, it's 250 psi, so we're going to go ahead and pump that up, because you'll notice at the moment it does pop up, but it's slow. So I'm going to pump that up and we'll see how we go. Right, so we've hooked up our shock pump to that center valve. We are at 250 psi. So I'm going to go ahead, disconnect, and we'll test operation. Right, we have it back together. Anyone's interested, that's a 9mm socket that undoes that valve cap on the top. So, does it work? There we go. She goes up, and I have tested going down and pressing the magic button again, and it does work up and down. Now, on these reverbs, I have also learned this one here turns, which is also a speed adjustment. So all the way outwards is slow, and all the way in is fast. So you can adjust how fast this goes up and down. If anyone has any questions or anything else, just hit me up with a comment and I'll try and answer them as best as possible. I'm thinking after doing this for the first time that I may do a follow-up video to try and explain it a little bit more, because there's quite a few steps. It is easy. Just need to take your time and think about what you're doing. Thanks for your time, guys.